Hi, I'm Dr. Sarita Ur, and I'm a psychiatrist in Texas. I treat a lot of addiction, both alcoholism and drug addiction. I wanted to tell you about a very dramatic day I had yesterday because anyone watching this probably is a family member with a serious addiction problem and are at a loss what to do. A family brought their 31-year-old to me who seemed like a young boy because he doesn't work, he's never really worked, and has been drinking for 15 years. He was suicidal when he came to me and was drinking very heavily. He'd already been to a rehab unit about probably 4 months ago, and he stayed about 45 days, and he did well initially, but then he relapsed and relapsed hard, and he's really never been that open to help. I sent him home with his parents. He'd been living by himself, and I prescribed medicine to safely withdraw him from alcohol. When he left, I spoke with his parents on the phone within a couple of days and told them I didn't think he was capable of succeeding in recovery without going for another inpatient stay because he would just, if he was left on his own with no job and he was actually living with a roommate, I was confident he would go back to drinking, that AA or an outpatient program just wasn't going to cut it. So, with his parents' help, we arranged a great inpatient rehab center stay for him, but they were afraid to tell him because they thought he would bolt. So, they brought him to his appointment yesterday, and this is what happened. I presented the option to him. He's doing much better off alcohol. I put him on an antidepressant, and, he really looked a lot better than the week before. And oh, and by the way, I had some lab work done on him, and his liver function tests were terrible. I mean, it really reflected how serious his drinking problem was. So we went over that, and I told him about this front rank treatment center that we'd arranged for him to go. And he said, no, no, I won't go. He was so adamant. He goes, I hated the last time I went. I'm never doing that again. And he was just wouldn't hear anything about it. So I explained why I thought it was very important. I actually think he's going to go on and die from alcoholism if he doesn't get the right help. And his parents explained that they've helped him so much and they weren't going to help anymore, that he'd even had a seizure on their floor years ago when he withdrew from alcohol and then went right back to drinking. And everyone said their piece. And he said he would do anything but that. I mean, he was really trying to negotiate another outcome. But his parents said, we're not enabling you anymore. I told him I wouldn't treat him as an outpatient. And I told his parents, do not accept one more call from your son unless he's saying, I'm going to treatment. No more long conversations because they've been a big support. And he was so angry he walked out. Then it was very tense. I mean, we're all just sweating bullets while he was there. I was very tough, and his parents really stepped up to the plate and said, we love you. We don't want you to die. Like, you have to go. But what's interesting is he left and we talked about what he might do. Like, would he try and go to his friend's house and drink? Would he get arrested for public intoxication? Would he try and kill himself? And, they were concerned. It's very, very hot in Texas. And I actually didn't think he'd walk the 10 miles back to his apartment. That it would, I told his parents, let go of the rope. We're playing tug of war. He's been told everything he needs to know. It's typical of an alcohol intervention for someone to get defensive. But then if they can just go and think about it, I told his parents I thought he'd actually come around, and I thought there was a good chance he'd make the right decision. And sure enough, he left. He didn't show back up at my office, but he eventually went to his parents' car like an hour later, and they drove him to treatment. And that's where he is. It had a really good outcome. So the reason I'm relating this story is this is not uncommon at all, that nobody likes being told what to do. No kid likes it, no adult. And you take someone with addiction, and it's 100 times worse. They do not ever want the control taken away. And it's very frightening to think that they can't just open up a beer or a bottle of wine and go back to drinking, that in treatment that option's taken away. So this is my story to tell you to let go of the rope, that I think it's really important to kind of say to your loved one, whether it's an alcohol